Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marcus Darden, and you just tuned into History with Marcus. So let's get started. Now, Russia. Russia is the largest country in the world today. It is almost the size of Pluto and nearing the moon. Also, it is one of the world's superpowers and is one of the strongest, largest and most militarized countries in the world. But I know the question on all your minds today. How did Russia become so big? How did Russia become so strong? But here's something. It all began with a little city called Novgorod. Let's start our story, folks. You see, when Rome collapsed, it split into two. The Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire quickly fell, but the Eastern Roman Empire, it stayed. And it would become a humongous power, especially in trading. And the people wanted to trade especially with the Byzantines, who was the Eastern Roman Empire, with the Vikings over in Scandinavia. But here's the thing. Across it was what is modern day Russia. And a humongous trade route formed from Scandinavia to Byzantium in that location. And a city was formed by a man who wanted to say, hey, guys, let's make a toll gate pass here. So, he made a small little toll gate pass there and he called it Novgorod. This would begin one of the oldest and largest cities in Russia today, Novgorod. Novgorod would be formed and became a humongous trading stop. And from it would spring an empire, the Kievan Rus. Now, the Kievan Rus was the earliest form of what is modern day Russia. It would control Belarus and Kyiv, their capital, which is in modern day Ukraine. It was a humongous superpower and it would have to do with many foreign affairs. But here's the thing. One day, the king of the Kievan Rus had many sons and he didn't want a fratricidal war to happen like he had gone to the throne, because during his time the Kievan Rus was so big, lots of fratricidal wars happened just to get the throne of the Kievan Rus. So he decided to split the Kievan Rus into semi-autonomous states. Basically, they functioned as their own country, but they were technically all part of the Kievan Rus. They each would have a leader and his favorite son would become leader of Kyiv. And once he died, the leader of Novgorod would come back and a circular formation would form. And this was not a good decision because this made lots of division in the court. Now, because of this division, they would all begin to fight each other. This would just serve This is fought at the exact reason it was made, not to do fratricidal wars, but this caused fratricidal wars. Nobody in the Kievan Rus was united anymore. It was just a warring place of principalities and states. Meanwhile, an empire was forming in Asia. You see, Genghis Khan was born on the Mongolian steppe, and after a series of battles, he would control all of Mongolia. He then attacked China, India, the Silk Road, and he would form a humongous empire. And one day, while Sabatu, one of Genghis Khan's generals, was going in, they were fighting the Kumin, who was in modern-day Crimea and some other Ukrainian lands. Now, while they were fighting, some Kumin ran over to the Kievan Rus, and the Mongols went over to them. Now, Mikhailevich III, who was the Grand Prince of Kiev, which at this point kind of lost all meaning, said, no, this is our land, so killed all the Mongol envoys. This made Mongolia very mad, very furious. This resulted in a war between Mongolia and the Kievan Rus. And after one humongous battle, the Mongols won. They then went back to Mongolia, where Genghis Khan sadly passed away, and his son would take the throne. Later, another invasion would come, this time to finish the job. They wanted to end the Kievan Rus, and they would do it. They had a huge army. Why is it a huge army? Because they knew something about the Kievan Rus. They will fight to the last born. They were known as the Third Rome. And if you know anything about Rome, you will know that they fight to the death. And that's the same thing for Russia, or in this scenario, the Kievan Rus. They would fight to the death. And the Mongols knew this, so they had a huge army, including some of Genghis Khan's relatives. Now, with this, they charged in. They dealt with the Volga Volgas, who was also an enemy of the Kievan Rus. But when they came in, they had to deal with the principalities. You see, they had a man in one of these principalities named Yuri. They immediately burned that city to the ground and killed Yuri. Yuri's brother, Roman, retreated to the north. Meanwhile, up north, there was another Yuri of another principality in the north of Russia. Now, you see, the Kievan Rus was so disabled and so broken with its principalities and such that even when the other principalities were in danger, they did not help. So, they did not even charge to help Roman. Now, with this, the Genghisites immediately moved in, and while the battle was happening, then only that alive Yuri went in and fought. But the battle was already lost. Roman would die in the battle, and the army. Immediately, the Mongols would move in. While they were moving, there was this small, little, insignificant city, Moscow. It would soon become a huge city. But it's not important yet. They would burn Moscow. When they moved even more north, they would lay ravage to this entire place. Meanwhile, the Iranians were also an enemy of the Mongols. So the Mongols moved down south, and for a brief time, the Russians were at peace. But you need to understand something. Remember earlier when I said the Russians would fight to the teeth, or to the last, to the death? Well, I was not kidding, because there were many brave last stand stories. For example, like the great last stand of the 300, which is immortalized in a movie. There were many famous last stands which are folklore in Russia today. Now, but when the Mongols came back, they would keep burning the cities of Russia. Finally, they came to Kyiv. Now, Mikhailevich III had already ran over to Hungary and made a new person named Dmitri come in. Now, the Mongols had went over and said, hey, guys, okay, let's make peace. So they sent envoys, which Dmitri killed again. Which at this point, we know what that means. Immediately, the Mongols went in and burnt Kyiv with Chinese catapults. And from then on, it was just a matter of time until the rest of Kyiv falls. Now after this, all of Rusland, or the Kievan Rus, became a puppet to the Mongols. And with that, you could only do something if the Mongols said so. It was semi-autonomous, but you also had to pay tribute to the Mongols. And yeah, it was not good. But then one kingdom would break away from this Mongol grip, Muscovy. Muscovy would take the Arkhangelsk. They would move even more forward to Siberia, and Muscovy would turn into Russia. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, the fall of the Kievan Rus. And that's all I have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Signing out, Marcus Stalin.